When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
This episode is brought to you by McAfee.
Yes! Playoff tickets!
Just need to click here and... Wait, what? Fake site? Good thing McAfee threw the red flag. That would have been $400 gone.
McAfee blocks risky sites so you don't pay for seats and other things that don't exist. Plans start at just $39.99 for your first year. That's cheaper than parking on game day. Learn more at McAfee.com/online protection.
Every Who down in Who Newville liked the holidays a ton. But where to get great prices on gifts, they had no idea. None. They searched and they searched for great gifts under $25. Gifts for spouses and friends and even their toddlers. When suddenly one Who shouted, Walmart has what you want, knowing they have Lego, Tree Hut, and no prices to flaunt. So they enjoy the holiday season as Who's often do. Cheering and shouting, Walmart has incredible gifts. Who knew? Find gifts they'll love under $25 at Walmart.
This episode is presented by State Farm. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing the protection of an offensive guard on the football field, but getting an elementary school crossing guard. Sure, they're both guards, but you can only trust one to keep your quarterback safe when the game is on the line. So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Here's my 30-second story with Guinness. As soon as my sister and I get home for the holidays, we don't even unpack. We head straight to our pub. The bartender already knows our order, Guinness and fries. We laugh all night, catch up with old friends, and walk home with faces sore from smiling. It's one of my favorite nights of the year. That was my 30-second story with Guinness.
Guinness Draft Stout. Please enjoy responsibly. Imported by Diageo Beer Company, USA, New York, New York.
The Eagles dropped their third straight game behind an inept performance from an offense that we've been talking about since October that has no answers, but at least they spent their mini-bye looking at everything, considering everything, and having Nick Sirianni talk a little more in the offensive meeting rooms. And once again, Ryan, we've got to sit here and break down a game where the defense played fantastic, the offense peed down their leg for 5 quarters on national television, and say the same things over and over. I don't even know where to go with this team. I don't know where to go with this game. It is literally the same stuff we've been talking about on repeat for 3 months, back when the Eagles were 7-2 and everybody was saying, oh, they're winning. And they said it wasn't sustainable. But we'll try to talk about it here on the post-game show. Probably going to be a shorter show tonight because it's already midnight and this was a rough one and we're tired and frankly a little over it. So hang out with us here in the comments. You can help us process. We'll help you process. I don't know. Maybe it's not the journey, Ryan. It's the friends we make along the way, right?
Sure, right.
So welcome into Postgame Live, I guess. I didn't say that part, but I'm your host, Shane. Give me a follow on Twitter at ShaneHalfNFL, joined by Ryan Reese. Give him a follow at Philly Sports PSA. Ryan, initial thoughts, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah, I thought Jalen Hurts had just one of his worst games. And I'm not even necessarily counting the fact that he had 4 interceptions, which is insane, considering he had 2 coming into this game. And you can explain, a couple of them off. But, yeah, he just looked wildly inaccurate. And it has been over the last couple of weeks. And, I'm kind of tired of trying to figure out why this team is the way this is, considering that there's not that much of a difference, when you think about last year to this year. And yeah, you could say a coordinator and, this person, this player, whatever. So I think it's just has been really bad lately. And somebody, somebody had jokingly said, it's time for McKee. And another one of my friends actually was serious and said, I think Hurts is regressing. And listen, I don't know if we're at that point yet. I mean, we are still 12, 13 games removed from a Super Bowl MVP performance. So I don't necessarily put it all on his shoulders, but I think maybe what he's trying to do is he's trying to do too much. He realizes that his offense has zero creativity. He realizes that if there is going to be any kind of movement, that he's going to have to do it himself. And maybe he's just putting it too much on himself. I don't know. I'm all out of ideas at this point.
Yeah,
at least the defense looked good.
Yeah, I don't think his numbers weren't great. A couple of these last games, 56% completion percentage against the Bears. It was down at 50% against the Lions. Had good numbers against the Cowboys. As I've watched the film, I especially remember last week, I thought the Bears game was bad, and I thought that I would be really critical of it. And when I came back and watched through the All 22 and did my Patreon video, I think there was a few missed throws, but I ultimately didn't think he actually played that bad against the Bears. I feel like he played really bad tonight. And, I obviously reserve the right to change that feeling when I get to look at the All 22.
It's a little different when you've had a little, space, but...
Yeah, and just the ability to see downfield. But, I know, I think there's an element of pressing. There's some inaccuracy. There's indecisiveness. There's not being a runner. Jalen Hurts had 8 rushing yards in this game. The guy on the other sideline that had surgery on a broken hand 7 days ago had 66 rushing yards. But I'll set that discussion aside for a second. Let's just talk about the play that ends the game, the interception. It's an RPO the Eagles have run, a dozen times. And it was a clear as day give read to hand the ball off to the running back. Like the edge rusher, on those, you're reading the edge rusher. If the edge rusher attacks the running back, you pull the ball and then you have the run or the throw. And the edge rusher just stands up, which is a clear as day give read. It wasn't like a super athletic play where he played both. He full sold to play Hurts. And Hurts kept it. And the problem with that is the Chargers have 3 guys over your 2 receivers. And so they can blanket that if they don't bite on the run. And if they don't bite on the run and they blanket that, you've got a defensive end screaming downhill at you because you didn't make him commit. And so it was a terrible decision to pull the ball. It was a bad decision to throw that. You can still throw it away and live to play another down. So, that was just a microcosm of the game, and I think he's pushing. He's trying to do too much. That was a really bad decision.
Yeah, he's definitely pushing a little too much. And yeah, listen, it doesn't excuse the bad game or the perceived bad few games that he's had recently. It's just this offense is in just such a tailspin, and it's funny because they give you a little bit of life here and there. And then they just go right back to it. The Saquon Barkley long run, and he had gotten a few runs earlier, and they had looked a few good on a few drives. So then it just turnover or stalls or whatever the case may be. But ultimately, I think the biggest culprit outside of however you feel about coaching has to be the offensive line. Dickerson goes down. At one point, I'm pretty sure Troy Aikman said how great Tyler Steen has been this year.
Yeah.
And I almost fell off my couch. If we aren't drafting a right tackle and a right guard with our first 2 picks, I will riot.
Don't forget a tight end.
Well, obviously, that's 3rd round, but
okay.
The first 2 rounds, that's more important. I'll even put my love of another tight end to the 3rd round. But, A.J. Brown, it's funny. He looked great at times. He looked slow at times. Again, I don't know what that is. I don't know whether that's just him not, giving a crap or if it's him just, whatever. But,
you start the game with a drop on a deep ball to A.J. Brown, which, by the way, the Eagles ran all hitches and nothing was open and they went into scramble drill. So you came out of a mini bye where you reassessed everything and put in some new stuff. And what you ran was a play that's not worked all year. But he does run downfield, scramble drill, ball hits him in the hands, he drops it. You get an interception that goes off of his hands. And I understand that ball's a little high and he's trying to protect himself. But catch the ball. For all the whining you do on social media, catch the football. Jalen Hurts put the ball in both of his hands in the end zone for a touchdown at the end of the game. And I mean, it's a good play by Cam Hart, gets his hand in there and pulls the arm down, but still, the ball hit him in both hands. Catch the football. His blocking was...
He got the touchdown that didn't count.
Yeah.
A terrible holding call, mind you.
Yeah, it really was.
It really was bad.
Yeah, he was awful as a blocker. And I mean, he made some plays too, but it's just, yeah, it's everything on the offense. There were a few things I liked, like the design on that touchdown that got negated by a phantom penalty was really cool, that they went into empty and looked like they were going to roll out left and then did a throwback right. That pony personnel play they did, 2 running backs, where they faked the run and then bootlegged out and then did a throwback to Goddard, was a really cool play. But so much of it is it's just like a one-off thing. Like that play was really cool and we didn't see pony personnel again the rest of the game.
Yep.
It's just a one-off thing that was cool. It's nothing that's sequenced and builds off of each other. And so, for long periods of the game, the offense is just ineffective. The defense played good enough to win this football game. I mean, the defense was put in awful situations. There were 5 offensive turnovers, and you held a team to 19 points in regulation. The offense just couldn't, and you got 3 turnovers yourself, by the way. But
right.
For long periods of the game, the offense just cannot do anything. And I don't know. I mean, the offense needed to go on one drive and they just couldn't do it. And I mean, you can say the offense did give them the lead and they promptly gave up a field goal drive, and that's fair. But at the same time, they gave up 19 points in regulation when the other team was gifted 5 turnovers. It was a great performance by the defense. And I mean, I think because the Eagles lost, people aren't going to go here, but I was preparing myself to point out that the Chargers were on their 4th and 5th offensive tackles, and that I don't know for sure that the pass rush is fixed just because they dominated them in the trenches, and they certainly did. And you can only play who's lined up across from you, but I don't think people are going to necessarily be taking those positives away after this one.
No, and considering they probably, what did they end up with? 7 sacks? They probably should have had 12. But Herbert is certainly a lot more, the escapable than I was originally thought of.
Yeah, Benjamin Solak tweeted out that Herbert ended the game with a 68% pressure rate, which is the 6th highest in a game over the last 10 seasons. That's insane. But yeah, so, it'd be nice to talk about getting a little bit of stuff going in the run game with Saquon, and they largely did that from under center, and then they just didn't do it enough. I know at one point going into the 4th quarter, they had 7.5 yards per rush from under center, 2.9 yards per rush out of shotgun, and they were in shotgun 3 times as much as under center, which I don't know. It's just, they can say whatever they want to about they reassessed things, they looked at different things, they considered all the options. They're simply not. This is a broken team offensively, and it's over. It's done. They're still going to make the playoffs more than likely. I think they need to win 2 of their final 4 games if the Cowboys win out. And they're going to have the Raiders and the Jaden Daniels-less Commanders twice, barring a major change offensively. I just don't see it. And I've been talking about these changes and the things they could do for a long time, and I've just lost faith that they're going to do it. And it's sad because I do feel like a lot of them are simple. I said major changes. It's not major changes other than who's calling the plays. There's a lot of simple things I feel like they can incorporate that they've done in the past that are in the playbook. It just doesn't seem like it's going to happen, to be honest.
No, you're right. And what you were saying earlier is this, the changes that they were trying to make. But you're absolutely right. They probably added, 5 or 6 plays, but called them all just once, and then that was it. And they were like, "Well, we added, these plays. What more do you want?" It just seems so ridiculous that this offense, and it's not like they don't see offenses going up against them, utilizing, different types of plays and concepts. They're doing them against them constantly, and they don't think, well, maybe we should try that. It's not even a thought.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a comment here, and You guys keep your comments coming. I'm seeing them, but they just keep flying by the time I think to put it on the screen. I don't remember who it was, so I can't throw it on the screen. I can't find it, but somebody asked where we're at with Nick Sirianni being on the hot seat. What do you think, what do you think the future holds coaching-wise for the Eagles?
Listen, I'm usually the furthest one away from, fire the head coach. And I'm still not necessarily there. But I think this offseason, I think perhaps what will happen is that Howie, Laurie, whatever you want to call it, will get involved. They will fire Patullo if Nick doesn't do it himself. And they will say, listen, we will pick your coordinator now because clearly you don't know how to pick offensive coordinators. And they need to go and get an actual adult. Somebody who's been there before. It seems like we're at an every other year pace here where we have somebody who actually knows how to do the job. Then they leave. Then we pick somebody, out of random, out of a hat that's on the team to be the new play caller. Then, then blah, blah, blah. It's a repeat cycle. But yeah, I think they have to get involved and say, listen, it's either this or you're out. And I'm assuming Nick will fall in line and say, hey, sure, grab whoever you want.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Man, Patullo's got to go. He should have gone in October when I first started talking about it. At this point, I'm sure he's just here for the end of it, but I think he's going to go, and I think they will step in and say, we're choosing the offensive coordinator, and as long as Nick's cool with that, he'll still be here. And I don't, whatever. It'd be nice if he could step in and fix this mess when it starts to go sideways, and I just don't think he can because I don't think he's an X's and O's guy in terms of, I don't think he can step in and fix an offense because we saw it in 2023. We're seeing it this year.
Yeah, clearly.
He doesn't bring that to the table. That doesn't mean he doesn't bring other things to the table. And how you weigh those out, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and try to do that because that's impossible from where I sit. But I think that you probably, no matter what the outcome is, you're not firing a coach that won a Super Bowl the season prior unless, he digs his heels in on we're keeping Kevin Patullo or so. I mean, it's the same sort of thing with Doug Peterson, right? If Doug Peterson approached that offseason and kind of did what they were asking him to, I think he would have stayed. And I think it'll be the same thing with Nick. So
yeah,
doesn't mean it's impossible, but I think there's a chance. And it all really just depends on how he approaches their input offensively. But the offense has got to change. This is the 5th straight game the Eagles have had a success rate of 30th percentile or worse. And this is the most expensive offense in the NFL. And so it's just untenable. It's got to be better. Any other things you want to mention offensively? And then let's flip over to the defense so we can get out of here and go to sleep.
I'd certainly like to hear a little bit more about what the Landon Dickerson injury was. Obviously I know he was able to come back into the game, but still kind of wondering what the long-term prognosis is. Yeah, again, it's the offensive line has not been great, and the offensive play calling hasn't been great, and I feel like as any normal team adjusts, at halftime or whatever, I feel like the Eagles really haven't adjusted to having a lesser offensive line, and not trying to utilize the strengths that they still have. And I think there's just been such a disconnect between that and the run game and all of that. But yeah, somebody had said, more two people need to be talking about Stoutland. Yeah, listen, we kind of always had the role that, we trust Stoutland, no matter what, but he's not, I mean, again, injuries will is one thing, but the offensive line outside of that hasn't been great either, even when they've been healthy. So I'm curious as just how much of that is Tyler Steen. Because I mean, at this point, I'm ready to put anybody else in there.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of that. There's plenty of injuries on the offensive line. Jordan Mailata's been
awful.
He's been bad this year.
Yeah, extra bad.
Lane Johnson's out. Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens have been injured. But, I was going to say you look across the line at the Chargers and what they're dealing with, but they didn't deal with it very well tonight either. So
no, they certainly didn't, but they have been throughout their season. And yeah, obviously, listen, I know somebody had said something that, injuries aren't on Stoutland, and that's certainly true, but, I don't know. It just, we've dealt with injuries before in previous seasons, and it's never, ever looked this terrible. So,
yeah,
who knows?
Yep. All right, well, let's talk briefly about the defense, and we will get out of here. On the opening drive, they give up that big pass play, kind of a broken play to Kamani Vidal for 60 yards. The Chargers end up capping that drive with a touchdown. After that, they go 3 and out, 4 and out, kick a field goal, fumble, 3 and out, interception, and that's the end of the first half. And then in the second half, they give up another good first drive. They give up a field goal drive, and then they really clamp down until that final drive. And so I thought it was a valiant performance from the defense. Plenty of guys got to Herbert. Jalen Hunt gets 2.5 sacks. Jordan Davis gets a sack and a half. He had 6 pressures. Byron Young got a sack and a half in this game.
It sure did.
Yeah. N'Kobe Dean had 19 sacks when he managed to wrap up for one of them.
Yep, that's accurate.
Yeah. But, I mean, the pass rush was alive. And again, I don't know. I think that is probably more of a reflection of the Chargers' offensive line than it is the Eagles' pass rush, because generally your pass rush isn't going to take that much of a leap after you lose your best defensive lineman.
Usually.
In Jalen Carter. But it's nice to see those guys really tee off. Cooper DeJean had a really good game, really, really put the slowdown on Ladd McConkey.
Yeah, he did.
I had a couple really nice pass breakups there. So what were your thoughts overall on the defense?
Yeah, listen, I thought, for coming into this game without having Jalen Carter, I thought they did really well. And now I'm kind of wondering how crazy it would have been with Jalen Carter there. But yeah, I thought N'Kobe had a really great game again, despite the not wrapping up a few sacks there. But yeah, I thought he played really well. I thought Adoree played pretty well. Coop did good. I thought the defense as a whole honestly played really well. Jalen Phillips, 50-50. He definitely was biting a little bit too much on those Herbert RPOs, which certainly led to some first downs. But yeah, all in all, I think the defense is exactly what we need them to be. It's just, unfortunately, they can't do everything. So they did as much as they could, despite, constantly, coming back onto the field, quickly after turnover or, quick drives. So, I thought that was even more impressive that they looked that good. So,
yeah, good game by Adoree Jackson too. I thought he had that one really nice the interception was good. That was created by Jalen Phillips, but he had a really nice drive downfield on a screen pass and a good tackle. The next play, he gave up a big catch, but it was just a dart of a throw.
Yeah, exactly.
By Justin Herbert, extending time, throwing across his body. It was good coverage. It was just a great throw. So Adoree Jackson played well. So there's some positives defensively. And it certainly helps when your pass rush is going off. But I didn't notice Marcus Epps, except for when my son asked who's number 39. And so that's good. You noticed Sidney Brown in a negative way a lot last week. And Marcus Epps able to step in and kind of study some things there. So a lot of good things defensively that you could talk about. But at the end of the day, it just kind of all feels overshadowed by what the offense put out on the field. And I don't know. It doesn't matter. If the defense gives up more than 14 to 17 points there, the Eagles won't win a football game right now. And that's kind of what it comes down to. And so when you give up an opening drive touchdown on you give up a busted play that turns into a touchdown, in your head, you're thinking, man, we can only give up 10 more for the rest of the game. And that's a tough place to operate from.
Well, listen, the fact that they had so many turnovers, the offense, and the defense just kept, shutting them down, short field after short field for field goals. And listen, you would think that, they'd miss at least one, but Dicker was on point today. Unlike Elliott missing that 48-yarder, that certainly would have game in Andy.
Yeah. So Chargers get the ball at the 43-yard line via turnover. Defense holds them to a field goal. The Chargers get the ball at the 30-yard line. Defense forces a turnover. Let's see, where were the other ones? Chargers get the ball at the 35-yard line, get held to a field goal. So, yeah. That's only 3, though. Where's the 4th turnover? Maybe it's counting the 2. Oh, it's counting the 2 in the same play as 2 separate ones.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So, yeah.
But yes, yeah, that's
it.
What I heard, that hasn't happened since like 1978, where somebody has gotten 2 turnovers in one play.
Yeah, reading the play-by-play for that play is hilarious.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts pass short middle intended for A.J. Brown, intercepted by D. Hand at LAC 17. Hand to the Chargers 24 for 7 yards. Will Shipley causes fumble, recovered by Jalen Hurts at the 32. Jalen Hurts to the 33 for -1 yards. Jamari Caldwell forces the fumble, touched at the LAC 33, recovered by Troy Dye at the 43. That might be the longest play-by-play descriptor I've ever read.
Yeah, that was a wild scene. That might go down as one of the wildest plays. I mean, this whole game was just crazy. I mean, heck, this whole season is flipped upside down. Yeah, it's very indicative of this team. 2 turnovers in one play.
Brett Eclipse says, shout out to Britton Covey for some great returns.
Yeah,
so glad I never have to see
catching
Gibson
the ball
again.
at the 5-yard line. It was a little, had flashbacks of Xavier Gibson. And then he proceeded to get face masked pretty hard that they blatantly missed. Not really sure, as considering his head was sideways, but proceeded to recover and get some yardage. So, yeah, he did pretty good.
Yeah, and then he has the fumble on that one kickoff that he gets back.
As long as you jump the right on it, who cares, right?
I'll tell you, the NFL has tried to make kickoffs interesting, but Britton Covey makes kickoffs interesting because he might house it, he might fumble, or he might get hit so hard it takes
2 years to recover.
Yeah, you just never know, but something exciting is going to happen when he's got the football. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
So, all right, man. I don't know that I got much else I want to talk about with this one.
What can you say, honestly? I just want to go to bed and forget this, just like I wanted to forget last week and the week before, and I won't have to feel that way next Sunday.
About 15 days ago, the Eagles were 8-2 and had a 21 lead on the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Now they're 8-5.
All downhill since then.
All downhill since then. So let's go to no player of the games. I guess we could do player of the games on defense. Who's your defensive player of the game, Ryan?
I'll give Nakobe. He tries real hard. And he did do well, despite not having 7 sacks like he should have.
Nakobe Dean has a 95.1 pass rush grade on PFF, and he has a 44% missed tackle rate in this game. And I'm pretty sure 3 of the 4 would have been sacks.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's good.
I'll go Jordan Davis. Leads the team, tied for the team lead with 6 pressures, has 4 run stops, a sack and a half, played quite a few snaps in this one, 45 snaps. I guess that's not a ton of snaps, considering where they're at defensive tackle-wise, but legacy game, some people were saying online for Jordan Davis. It was nice to see him have a really good game.
Yeah, I agree.
So, all right, let's also do our 3-word reactions, and then we will get out of here. You guys can drop your 3 words here in the comments if you want to, and Ryan and I will steal our favorites and pretend we didn't see you type it first. So,
yep.
Ryan, what's your 3-word reaction?
I'm over it.
That is 3 words. I thought you meant you're over the show, not you're over it for the.
I mean, I am too. I'm very tired. There you go.
You got 2 of them, yeah. All right, I'm over it. I don't see. This is a great one from Brett Eclipse. Positivity rabbit failed.
Yeah, I saw that too. I was like, what are we doing here, people?
Yeah, that's a great one. Let's see. I'm trying to think of a good one here. We got a typical from Eagles Dynasty. Shake says, "Why even bother?" I'm gonna do my best Nick Sirianni impression here for my 3 words and say, "Looking at everything," because that's exactly what he's gonna say in his press conference tomorrow. we're looking at everything.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, I thought we did really well. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. It's like, shut up. No, you didn't.
Robster says fork in it. Philadelphia fan says Kevin James Franklin Patullo, and he thinks he's clever because he's deleted the space
a couple of times. Yeah,
between James Franklin and I read it again.
I'll allow it. No normal games. That's a good one.
What do you want to bet the first thing Nick Sirianni talks about is losing the turnover battle?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, which is fair because Hurts threw 4 picks in this game. So
that's what.
He entered this game with 5 turnover-worthy plays on the season, and he threw 4 interceptions tonight. That's just
fumbled
insane.
The ball.
And had a fumble.
So he had 5 turnovers, period.
Yeah. I bet they don't chart the one off of A.J. Brown's hands as a turnover-worthy play.
Yeah,
But yeah, have to look at it.
This really sucks.
Yeah. That's a good 3 words. This really sucks.
This really sucks.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating how you go from the high of highs to expectations through the roof, and then it all just comes crashing down again and again. I know this theoretically isn't 2023.
Yeah. Well, the good news is that after 2023 came a 2024, so the Eagles may complete their collapse this season, and we all know that means a Super Bowl trip next year, right?
Yeah.
Hey, if you tell me in advance that's what we're signing up for, I'll take a Super Bowl appearance every other year with an unfathomably bad collapse in between.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just know to sell my season tickets towards the end of the year.
You know the pattern now.
Yeah, right? Yeah, well, now we know.
So, all right, well, I think that's quite enough talking about this game at 12:30 now at this point. Ryan, do you have any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, this team makes me want to drink. This was one of those games where, like, 1 minute I was, wanting to throw my phone across the room and yell at the TV, and then the next minute they're actually doing something decent, and I'm jumping up out of my chair and yelling. So good yelling, by the way. It's just been such a weird, random, frustrating roller coaster that we just can't get off yet. And that's what this season is truly like.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys that are tuned in here live for the late game. We appreciate you guys coming to hang out with us. Appreciate all of you watching or listening, whatever you're doing tomorrow on your way to work, reliving this mess with us. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully the Eagles will start to turn some things around and we can have some celebratory post-game shows. We'll continue to have shows, coming out on the network. I'll dive into the film tomorrow and have some stuff ready for a show with Johnny on Wednesday. And we'll keep the content coming your way, talk about some solutions, some fixes, things the Eagles could do, and hopefully maybe they can add it into the rotation of the things they're looking at. I don't know. But that's going to do it for this one. 3rd brutal loss in a row as the Eagles slide continues, and they edge ever closer to losing the repeat bid in the NFC East, which at this point, I think we just got to say that's a curse that will never be broken if it doesn't happen this year. Right. If the Eagles manage to blow this lead, that curse will just remain in effect forever, I think. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys for joining. Be sure you are following Ryan on Twitter. He is at Philly Sports PSA. I'm at Shane Half NFL. We'll catch you guys next time. Go Birds.
Get Popeye's Scary Good Freddy Fazbear Box with garlic palm tenders and cheesy bites with marinara sauce. Or try the deluxe box with the Cupcake Cup and a 20-ounce drink and see Five Nights at Freddy's 2, only in theaters. Love that chicken from Popeyes. Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants.
At LinkedIn, we know hiring is a big deal for your small business. Sometimes it can feel a little overwhelming. LinkedIn uses data that you can't find anywhere else to give you the best candidates, all so you can feel confident you're hiring the best person for the job. And even a little hiring bliss. See why 86% of small businesses who post a job on LinkedIn get a qualified candidate within a day. Post a job for free at linkedin.com/achieve. LinkedIn, your next great hire is here.
Okay, Chad. Today you're gonna drive the all-electric Toyota BZ.
But my electric vehicle phobia. I'm not ready, Dr. Ross.
I believe in you.
Oh my gosh. We're inside it.
Try to take deep breaths, okay?
The ventilated seats, they're touching me.
You can do this, Chad. Drive the car. How do you feel, Chad?
I feel cured. Woohoo! I'm doing it!
The all-electric BZ. One drive can change your mind. Toyota. Let's go places.
Mientras los quienes de Villaquién reían y comían, el Grinch desde su guarida su plan definía. Pensó, ¿cómo arruinar sus cenas festivas? Y le vino una idea, de las más retorcidas. Salpicaré sus papitas de verde, con sazón de pepinillo, y con esos feos calcetines verán mi retorcido motivo. Así que si quieres probar lo que el Grinch preparó, ve a McDonald's y verás lo que tramó. El nuevo Grinch Meal, ya, en McDonald's. En McDonald's participantes hasta agotar existencias.
Para pa pa pa.
Oh, Hilton stay, your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh, Hilton stay.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. Enjoy comfortable rooms and friendly service when you stay with Hilton instead. Save up to 25% this season when you book with Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Terms apply.